translations of well-known works from Latin. Until the time of Alfred's reign, there were no prose in Old English, with the exception of laws and charters. All prose was in Latin. By the 9th century, England was in a cultural and intellectual decline, and the people understood only Old English. Alfred was the first to realize the need for educating the people, and he set about translating works he deemed suitable. As Alfred himself said, without wisdom, no faculty can be fully brought out. Alfred was tireless in his devotion to preserving Anglo-Saxon literature by copying and translating important pieces of his times into Old English. He himself did some of the translating and also supervised scribes and monks, influencing them to follow his example. Some of the important works he translated include The Consolation of Philosophy by Boethius, a philosophical work from the 6th century that had an important influence on much of the literature of the Middle Ages. Cura Pastorialis, Pastoral Care, is a handbook by Gregory describing the responsibilities of a bishop, and Soliloquies by St. Augustine is an ecclesiastical manual. Two of the works that Alfred translated and compiled are Bede's Ecclesiastical History of the English People and the Anglo-Saxon Chronicle, that have generated a storm of arguments among scholars through the ages. Most of the debates are based on the style of writing in these works, as it differs from the style and works soundly attributed to Alfred's hand. Thus, whether Alfred directly contributed to the works or not, it is established that the translation of the works was accomplished during and inspired by his reign. Knowledge of Alfred's early years is based on a biography by John Asser, who is Alfred's companion. Alfred had no schooling in his childhood and could read neither Latin nor Old English until after his 12th year. However, once he started learning, there was no stopping him. He came to the throne of England in 871, following the death of his brother, King Ethelred I. His early years as a monarch were spent organizing successful campaigns against the Danish Vikings, forcing them north back into the Danelaw, where many became Christians. This saved England from becoming part of the Norse Empire. The rest of England accepted Alfred as their national leader. Alfred acutely felt the pressures of being a monarch and of constantly having to fight to defend his land. His infirm health was also a continual source of aggravation to him. Despite all of this, he continued to aptly administer his kingdom, bestow aims and larges on natives and foreigners, practice hunting, instruct his goldsmiths and falconers and dog keepers, design and build majestic houses, attend mass twice a day, especially in English literature, because without him, several very important works, including the work of the Venerable Bede, would never have been translated into Old English and then into Modern English. So many of the works of Old English would have been lost. And it's important that a character like Alfred came along who founded his mission